Hey everyone, today we're going to go over how to use the terminal on a Mac or a Unix-based system. Most of this stuff that I'm going to be explaining to you also apply to the famous Linux operating system, although sometimes there are a couple of differences. It does not apply to Windows, so I'm going to make a separate video on how to do some of this stuff on Windows. And today we're going to go over how to use the terminal, which is the black screen that you kind of see in the Matrix, and it kind of makes you look like a hacker when really you're just using the computer on a like you regularly do. So first, let's begin by opening up the terminal. Again, Command Space. We're going to open up terminal. It looks a little bit different on mine because I downloaded a special plugin that I'm going to show you in a separate video. And as you can see, yes, it's a white screen. And basically the whole basis of the terminal is to be able to empower you to use the computer without the GUI, graphical user interface. It makes it so much faster when you're writing code and you're trying to move stuff as opposed to having drag and like double click. I know it sounds kind of stupid, but honestly the mouse really slows you down when you're working a lot on a computer. So really, like pretty much every single programmer starts using the terminal fairly early. It normally looks very intimidating, but I'm going to show you the basics today to show you how you shouldn't be scared of it and how you should start using it. The best thing about the best approach to using the terminal is use it as much as you can. At first it's going to be scary. It was scary for me, but you honestly just start using it, and once you get accustomed to it, you'll be able to really notice the difference and how much more productive and how much more effective you are when you write your code and you use your computer. So we're going to do that. I'm going to show you like how it works. For example, I'm going to create this command opening Opera, and what that does is that it opens up my Opera browser. What I want you to do, since you have a Mac, regardless of what Mac you have, is I want you to look up iTerm2 and download iTerm2. That's like the Pro version. Don't use like the one that comes with the Mac. It's also good, and like everything I'm going to show you today also applies to it, but iTerm2 is so much better. So you go to this website, you download it, it's free, it's really awesome, it's super fast. Once you have downloaded it, I'm going to close it. You open up iTerm, and this is what it's going to look like. Again, it has a little different colors, and it's a little larger because I modified it to my own preference, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a later video. So let's begin on doing some very basic things with the terminal. So one of the first commands I'm going to teach you is the list. If you type in ls and then you type in enter, it lists every single directory and every single file in the place that you're in. In this case, this little mustache shows you that you're in the root directory. That's like the very generic directory that shows you everything. If you just click L, it shows them like in this vertical line. It shows every single file, even the ones that have a dot file, which means they're hidden, that you wouldn't normally see, because you see, like, for example, like our history, you don't see that here. ls, it just makes it horizontal and it's easier to see. So then we can do something like, let's look at ls again. Let's pretend I want to go to my documents folder, or like the directory. What you type in is cd change directory and then documents. That way I'm in the documents folder. If you click ls, you see everything. So if you want to go back to the root folder, you do cd and then you press shift and you go with the mustache, brings you back to the root folder. That happens like at any point, like anywhere else in the document. So if you go like super far, like super deep into like your directories and your folders, you can always go back to it by just typing cd mustache. And if you want to go back to simply the previous folder, so let's pretend I go to my Dropbox, cd Dropbox, and then I list it, and I go to, and I do cd Lorenzo, and then I go to cd LD, right? If I want to go back to the previous folder, oh, like, wait, what if I wanted to go to my programming folder? I can do cd and then 2 periods right in a row, and it moves you back to the previous one. Pretty easy, right? And if you want to move through folders more quickly, what you can do, and if we go back to the root directory, you can pile them together this way, where you do cd Dropbox / Lorenzo / programming, and you brought me back to the programming one. So you see, it's so much faster to move it as opposed to if you had to click and manually do it. The next thing we're going to look for is how to make directories. So let's pretend I want to make a new directory. So the command for that is mk's for make dir. So make directory, right? It makes sense. That's why the Unix system and the Mac is so much better than Windows, because when Windows it's so awful. Make dir, and then you type in the name of your directory. So we're going to say new directory, for example. And if you can see, it's right here now. And if we go to it, cd new directory, see it's empty. What if we wanted to make a file then? Let's pretend let's pretend we want to make a index HTML file. What you do is you say touch index.html, and then if you click ls, there it is. That's the this is like the very basics. So what if you want to see what's inside the file without having to open up Sublime? You can do cat index.html, and in this case it's empty, so it doesn't show me anything. But if I went back to, say, like another file, that's, for example, let's go to downloads. What if I wanted to see what's inside? Yeah, the double loss AC. I'm gonna copy this. I can do cat no such file directory, cat loss AC, no such file directory. Oh, right, because he has the spaces. So let me do it this way. Double. Yep, you have to write it this way, because remember, every space separates the commands. And if I click enter, look, it's a bunch of text, because it's a docx file, it can't read it properly, because there's so many different exceptions, so many different symbols that it doesn't recognize. But basically, if you want to see like code, cat allows you to see the content of the file. So what if you wanted, for example, to open up a file? So let's pretend let me go back. So earlier we did open, right? We saw the open command. But if I want to see my open and debug npm node package manager debug log, don't worry what that is, doesn't matter. I can type in open, and he opens it for me. Bam! And again, it opens it because and it only allows you to open files in the directory that you're in, unless obviously you specify like the path. And what if you want to open up an app, kind of like we did with command space, and like we try to find something? The way you do it, like we showed you earlier, is open, and then you use an extension, open a Opera, and it opens up my browser, Opera, right? And it makes sense because what you're doing, oh, don't worry about this. What you're doing is you're specifying open an application. That's what the .a refers to. And every single command that I'm showing you on the Unix system, you can always like specify and write additional specifications to the command, and they're always like a dash something, like a dash abbreviation, and that's the way, and that's basically the way you open things. So let's go to our new directory. So we've learned how to look to listings, how to make files with touch, how to make directories. What if we want, oh, there's also a funny one. Say hello. Oh wait.
Hello.
Haha, it makes your computer say things. There are also specifications you can make more, like you can give your computer the Morgan Freeman voice. That's hilarious too. But yes, so you're basically you saw the very basic ones. The other thing I would say is there's so many different commands on the Unix system. One of the very simple ones is man, that shows up the manual, so you can kind of learn the way it works. So for example, what if I want to learn how to use Vim? I can say man Vim, and he opens up Vim, and you see it's explaining it to me. Oh, Vim, VI improved, a programmer's text editor. So he opens up the manual, and that way you can kind of read in the way each command works. The other thing we're going to go over that's very simple is the last thing we're going to go over is how to move things and rename files. So what if, for example, I'm making index.html HTL. Oh wait, that's wrong. I didn't want to make the index.htl file. Oh man, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna say remove index.htl and then touch index.html, or am I gonna be smarter than that? So what you can do is to rename a file, you say move, you type in the initial file name, and then you type in the new file name. Remember, see, that's why you cannot use spaces unless you're actually separating different concepts within the command. That way, I have an index.html file. And what if I wanted to remove the file? You say rm index.html. Bam, it's removed. What if I wanted to remove a directory? You have to say remove rf new directory. And as you can see, it's no longer there. So mkdir new directory, and then cd new directory, and then touch index.html, touch style.css. That way I have two files there. What if I wanted to make, what if I wanted to move? So let's first make a directory style sheets, like we taught you on the last video. What if I wanted to move the style.css file into the style sheets folder? What you do is you use move again, but this time you're not going to change the name. You're going to say move style.css style sheets, and then you add the slash, showing that you're moving it inside it. That way, it's right there. So if we move to style sheets, it's right there. The last command I'm going to show you that's also very simple and very awesome is is pwned. Yeah, it looks like pwned. And it shows you the path the file already exists, and it's very useful when like you get lost and you're like, oh my gosh, I found this random file. I don't want to forget where it is. You just do pwned, and it shows you it's within the users directory, within the Mac users directory, and the new directory within that, and the new directory within the Mac user directory, and the style sheets folder. Yes, download iTerm too, because it allows you to do awesome things, such as if you press Command D, it splits the terminals into two. It's going to be very useful in the future if you want to do like multiple things. And you can do Command T, opens up a new tab. And if you do Command arrow, left arrow, right arrow, it allows you to move between them. And if you press Command Alt, like Command Option, it allows you to move within the different terminals. It's really, really, really awesome. I hope this made it very easy and accessible. We're going to look at like how to make our terminal even more pro-like, but this is showing you when you see hackers doing all sorts of crazy things, don't worry about that. It's just, yeah, it's just nonsense. It's very easy. Don't get scared and start using it as much as you can, even if you to do very simple things. I would say if you're moving like a massive amounts of files, maybe do it like manually through Finder, but everything else try to use the command line